It has become socially acceptable to be prejudiced against the Catholic Church. In an age obsessed with inclusion and sensitivity, Catholicism remains the only target one may insult without hesitation. Most beliefs demand respect. One belief is expected to tolerate contempt. This prejudice appears harmless because it requires no study. One only needs to repeat cliches about medieval darkness and imagined ignorance. Yet Western civilization owes its existence to the Catholic Church. That's not a theological claim. It's historical. The institutions and ideas that define the West emerged not in spite of Catholicism, but because of it. When Rome collapsed, political structures disintegrated. Literacy declined. Law dissolved into force. Nothing survived capable of rebuilding order except the Church. It preserved knowledge, organized communities, and restrained rulers long before secular institutions reappeared. We condemn the very thing that built the conditions for condemnation. Certain achievements remain visible, although their origins are rarely acknowledged. The university. Universities developed out of cathedral schools. Reason was institutionalized, debate was formalized, and academic independence existed centuries before modern secular thought claimed credit for it. Bologna, Paris, and Oxford were Catholic long before they were Western. Western is no longer a geographical point on a map, but a way of thinking formed by Catholic assumptions about reason, personhood, and the intelligibility of the world. Science itself was made possible by a specific Catholic conviction that the universe is rational and therefore comprehensible. If creation comes from a rational creator, then nature has order and laws that can be discovered. The scientific method rests on this theological foundation. One cannot study what one believes to be chaotic. Law. Canon law restored legal coherence after Rome, limited kings, and established obligations grounded in natural law. The idea that rulers are subject to law did not originate in Parliament or Enlightenment philosophy. It was Catholic. Catholic thinkers insisted that indigenous peoples and enslaved persons possessed natural rights identical to Europeans, not as sentiment but as objective truth. Catholics confronted Spanish power on this basis. Francisco de Vitoria forced monarchs to recognize a universal dignity shared by all humans, centuries before the modern language of human rights. Hospitals organized care for the sick began in monastic communities. Hospitals were founded because people were human beings worth caring for, not because they were useful. Modern medical ethics are Christian anthropology with the theology removed. Charity. Before Christianity, charity was rare, local, and limited. The Church universalized it and created institutions for the poor, the orphaned, and the vulnerable. The idea that society has obligations to its weakest members is a Christian invention. It is not Roman, pagan, or secular. Agriculture. Monastic life advanced agricultural production, crop rotation, irrigation, and land management. Monasteries functioned as economic engines, technological centers, and prototypes for research and development. The practical foundations of civilization were kept alive by monks, not kings. The broader meaning. These accomplishments are not incidental. They formed the framework of Western civilization itself. They established how knowledge would be pursued, how law would be justified, and how human beings would be understood. What we now call the West stands on ideas the Church defined, defended, and transmitted. Western civilization is not a region, but a worldview, built on Catholic assumptions about reason, law, and human nature. Remove those assumptions and the civilization disappears. It is a simple irony. The modern world rejects the very foundation that created it. The freedom to criticize the Church exists only because a Catholic civilization made such freedom possible in the first place.